Earlier this year, Hornady introduced a line of interesting and useful bullets, the ELD-VT. Now that's a whole lot of letters. Let's take a look at one of them that I think has got some real potential for my use in this video. Guy Miner here from UltimateReloader.com. Today we're going to take a look at Hornady's ELD-VT bullet. It's one out of 4 different ones that they're producing now. This one is the 6.5. These all have Hornady's elongated long ogive for those high BCs. They've all got the heat shield tip, the Hornady's AMP bullet jacket manufacturing process. They are built to have very good accuracy and very rapid fragmentation. They make no bones about this being some kind of a deep penetrating bullet. No, this is a bullet that's supposed to come apart. And one of the ways they do this is it has a very unique length to weight ratio. It's got an awful lot of air on top of the lead core up towards the tip. And that does a couple of really good things for the bullet, both accuracy-wise and aiding in fragmentation. The bullets are designed to be both a match bullet and a varmint or predator bullet. So that's what the V and the T is. The V is for the varmint and the T is for target shooting. That's the application they have for all these. Again, they're not talking this up as a deer bullet or anything like that. It's a more specialized thing. Nice tight groups, really good performance on varmints. You can see there's 4 different ones: 22, 6mm, 6.5, and 30 caliber. Between that, they've got things pretty well covered, and they recommend these for use on animals 50 pounds and less. All right, this is not for big game hunting. This year, we first got acquainted with the ELD-VT when Gavin went to the SHOT Show, and he and Seth Swerzak at Hornady had a really good conversation about this new line of bullets. Later, Gavin went to the Leupold Optics Academy, where he got extensive experience shooting the ELD-VT. You can see how nice and accurate it was. That's his sight-in target. Pretty impressive. And they were using the factory match ammunition, and they took it out to over 1,000 yards while he was at that Optics Academy. And I wish I'd got to go. That was a pretty neat adventure he had on that. This particular bullet has a weight of only 100 grains, which is really light for a 6.5 bullet. .264. Most of them are in that 120 up to 147 grain for the 6.5 Creed. Now this one's way down to 100 grains. And the reason for that is to kick that muzzle velocity way up, up above 3,000 feet per second. So you've got kind of a blistering fast muzzle velocity. It's slippery enough, got a high enough BC that it holds that velocity well downrange, and you get that high impact speed on your varmints out there, your prairie dogs, your rock chucks, your coyotes, whatever it is that you're shooting. Real nice high BCs are typical of 6.5 bullets, but this one is right in there at .448 G1. Doesn't sound real high in today's world where .5 and above is almost expected, but it serves the purpose. And I tell you what, I've shot an awful lot of animals with that kind of a BC and even lower BCs. BC doesn't really matter all that much out at 300 yards. 600, 700, 800, it makes a huge difference. This bullet will work very well in your standard 1 to 8 twist, which is common on 6.5 rifles. We used Winchester Stayball Match for this. I used that in all these loads that I came up with. It's a good powder. It's one I really like. Double base ball powder. I've grown really fond of using spherical powders or ball powders because they meter so well through a powder measure, and you can throw charge after charge after charge very consistently. Temperature insensitive, which is nice. I intend on using this load all year round. Has the copper fouling reducer, which is nice. You can shoot longer before you need to clean the barrel. And it's made in USA, which I also like. For a loading setup, I went to the RCBS Summit press. I've been using that press quite a bit lately for both 7mm Magnum and now for the 6.5 Creedmoor. It's interesting. It's always fun watching that die come down onto the cartridge case. I kind of like that, and it does tend to produce very accurate ammunition, and I like that a lot. So I was using the whole RCBS setup there with the Supreme dies and their Uniflow powder measure. Really nice stuff from RCBS, and it's good to have the green stuff back on my loading bench. I learned how to reload on RCBS equipment 50 some years ago, and that's what Dad had. That was my first set, was RCBS gear when I bought my own, and I still have that press. Good old RCBS rock chucker from, gosh, back in the 80s. Looking for loads, I went to Hodgson's Online Data Center, and in the summer I saw that they had a 100 grain bullet with 43.8 grains of the stay-ball match. That worked out pretty darn well, was accurate, good velocity, and absolutely no problems. I went back and they've updated that for this specific bullet, and now they're listing a max of 45.3, and they're looking at 3,346 feet per second in their online data. That's from a 24-inch barrel. And I thought, wow, that's impressive. That's not the kind of velocity I think of when I'm thinking 6.5 Creed. Usually I'm thinking 2,700-ish feet per second with a 140-ish grain bullet. Well, drop that 40 grains off that bullet weight and you can get some really good velocity. I managed to shoot our 2 different hand loads and the Hornady match ammunition, factory ammunition. It was interesting to me that I've considered a hand loading success, and one of the reasons I love to hand load, because the Hornady match ammunition that they sent to us worked out really well. It was very accurate, had 3,143 feet per second, nice. We beat that by 200 feet per second with a 22-inch barrel on this Bergara. Yeah, 200 feet per second faster, and more importantly, cut the SD in half, which I was very impressed with that. Those single-digit SD numbers are something I really strive for and try to get with my hand loads. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. This powder, this bullet, the rifle, all work together just great, and we got good tight numbers. If we take a look at their match ammunition, it is rated at 3,200 feet per second. We got close to that. And because of the slippery bullet shape, the high ballistic coefficient, it hangs on to that velocity well. If you're not a hand loader, and you should be, but if you're not a hand loader or for some reason you want to shoot match ammo, this is good stuff, and it worked out really well for my rifle for both accuracy and consistency. It was terrific. You can see that trajectory there if they've got the rifle zeroed at 200 yards, and they're looking at less than 6 inches of drop out at 300. Real easy to, say, hold on coyote and hold on hare and take your coyote out there at 300 yards. Real easy to do that. I went ahead and used Hornady's Ford-off calculator. It is real easy to use. You can do it on your computer or you can have it on your cell phone. And I kind of half jokingly called my calculation the 6.5 coyote because that's my intention for this bullet, this rifle, and coyotes. I think they're all going to go together just fine. We added in here a little bit more horsepower to start with, 3,350 feet per second instead of the 3,200 for the factory stuff. Looks real good. Real similar ballistics out there to 300. It's only dropping 5.3 inches. I think that I've got myself a 300 or 400 yard coyote set up here, no problem. Hornady's Ford-off ballistic calculator is sweet. It's easy to use. You can have it on your cell phone. And to find out more about it, take a look at our earlier video. I've been using this rifle quite a bit lately, and I know it's showing up on the channel quite a bit too. That's okay, it's a good rifle. We've got this Bergara Ridge Carbon Wilderness, has the carbon wrapped barrel. It's got the muzzle brake. We've got it sitting in a Boyd stock. Got this real nice loopholed VX5 HD 3-15 with a 44mm objective lens. Got it sitting in a nice set of Hawkins rings. And it's just working out really well for me. Accurate, consistent, easy to carry, real nice out there in the field. Myself, I'm looking at this now that my mule deer season is already over. I'm looking at this as a predator rifle now, which is why I'm going to the 100 grain ELD-VT bullet at high velocity. Mostly coyotes, but there's always a chance of running across a cougar out there too. So I want to have myself some horsepower there, and I think that I'll be well served by the Bergara in that role. Come spring, the rock chucks start showing up again. I have seldom seen as many as show up on Gavin's property, and I'm sure that he won't mind a little company up there and taking care of some of those rock chucks that plague him sometimes. In conclusion, we were able to come up with some really nice accurate loads this highly frangible bullet. Applications for it are target and predator or varmint shooting, and it is not known as a fur-friendly bullet. So if you're looking to harvest coyotes and save the skins, this is probably not the bullet for you. If you just want to swat them down hard, then it makes a lot of sense. What I want to know is, are any of y'all out there using the ELD-VT yet? And if so, how's it working out for you? What are you using it on? Are you just shooting matches with it? Things like that, or are you getting into some predator or varmint control type situations? Drop a comment and we'll have a discussion. That means it's time to wrap it up.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. Thanks again for watching.